This is the Zach Ansberry Show.
Welcome. Today's podcast clip comes from an interview with Chris Villani from Foodland Supermarkets Australia. So, with your undergraduate degree, you're one of the first people to go through it. The combination of marketing and communications. How did you find those two complemented each other?
Yeah, look, really well. It's as I said, it was one of the first allotment of students to go through that. So didn't really know what to expect. One of the things that I actually really did enjoy was that half of it was here at the University of South Australia, City West, and the other half was at McGill. And I actually quite like that. Even though they were two very diverse campuses, to get to one, to get to the other wasn't as simple as it might seem. I actually quite like the lush greenery of McGill, and then you kind of go to the concrete jungle that is City West. But it was a really nice contrast, and it was such a creative space at McGill, and it's such a creative space here as well. But the communication courses really did blend quite well with the marketing courses, and that's essentially one of the reasons why I did decide to go down that path.
Yeah, so I never had that experience to the McGill campus in my undergrad. And then I saw it once. I lived in Newton for a little bit, and I went to the gym there. I realised just how beautiful that campus actually is. There's like streams going through it. Kind of reminds me of the Griffith campus actually at the University of Griffith University. And this is a lot more of a concrete jungle. But our previous DVC, so Marie Wilson, Andrew is now taking over, Andrew Beer. She did quite a good job of really transforming this campus.
Yeah, you know what I have to say, it looks really different. I don't get back here as often I would like, but when I do come back to the City West campus, it changes all the time. It changes all the time, but that's good, right?
Yeah.
Progress is just fantastic. I was actually just commenting as I was walking in here, just the colour of the building has actually changed as well, and it's just fascinating how much that can actually change the look and the feel of something.
Yeah, because they had exactly that problem where, students were coming onto campus, they were doing a lecture, and then maybe they'd have 2 or 3 hours between a lecture and a tute, and they wouldn't want to stick around, so they wouldn't come to the tute or they wouldn't come to the lecture. And they really needed to build a culture here, a nice, warm environment. So where the library used to be, there's now like what they call, it's like a student hub. There's like bean bags, there's like nice little booths there, there's like study space, microwaves, like filtered water.
They've done a great job.
It's so nice. And now what we're seeing is that the campus has life.
Yeah.
Like you can tell when students are here and you can tell when they're not. Whereas I couldn't really tell the difference before.
And I think you're spot on. Absolutely right. Look, when I love my university life. Like I used to hang around the university after my lectures and tutorials, and that was fantastic. But I look now at what they've done, and it's completely different. It is just complete. It's almost like you can live on campus. Really, it's just everything that you need.
Yeah,
it's here.
Yeah, I'm quite envious of the students today. When did they start? Last week, and then the week before especially, we have a whole bunch of new students come through, and they've never been on campus. So you see them looking at the signs and looking at their phone, and I often stop and I say, "Oh, look, like, do you need any help finding the building?" It's like, "Oh, I'm looking for GK 217." You're like, "All right, if you go down there, give them directions," and I often tell them which cafes are the best ones to go to, which are the best places to eat, where should they socialise with their friends, and then I always remind them how lucky they are because we never had that. No. Like we had Aroma Cafe and it was like eating $12 pasta that tasted like it was cooked 3 days ago.
I actually quite liked Aroma. Did you? that was one of the hangouts. But we didn't have options back in the day.
Exactly.
We had this is what you're getting, and you're going to like it. Although having said that, we probably shouldn't complain too much because the facilities were more than adequate at the time. They absolutely were.
Yeah. Now I suppose they're a little bit more spoiled now
they are.
And of course, a lot's happened on the west side of the campus. You have the SAMRI build across there. You have the two other research Adelaide Uni's moved down this side.
Absolutely.
SAMRI 2.
It's actually become a bit of a medical hub,
Yeah.
that side of North Terrace, and it's just absolutely amazing. But then I look at Hindley Street, and as much of a reputation as Hindley Street does have, Hindley Street when we were at uni compared to now is completely different.
So different.
Especially this side of Hindley Street, especially this side.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still as fun as it was back in the day, but maybe there's a little bit of different fun.
Well, it kind of changes as soon as you hit that Morfett Street Bridge. And there was actually a bit of a petition. So David Lloyd, who's the Vice Chancellor at the moment, so it would have been Peter Hoy when you were here, he was really petitioning, I don't know whether it would be the City Council or the Premier, I can't remember which one, but to change the name, and the traders wanted it as well. Apparently the Hindley Street traders wanted it as well, to keep Hindley Street between King William and Morfett Street, and then from Morfett Street to West Terrace, rename it like University Boulevard.
That's
or
right.
potentially like after some sort of Aboriginal cultural significance, or someone of educational significance perhaps. And I was fully supportive of it because the culture changes as soon as you walk across that bridge.
Yeah, no, it does, and I think it's a real positive thing. And it's just now this side of Hindley Street feels like a student hub.
Yeah,
it feels like once you cross that bridge, it feels like you're entering student territory, which is a really nice feel. And I was just dumbfounded by the library too. I've only actually been in the new library a couple times, but now that is just so big. It's actually off-located.
Yeah.
Like that still just blows my mind when I think about that. I used to hang out a lot in the library back in the day, but it certainly wasn't as large as it is now.
Yeah, well, the old library is now office buildings, and the new library, the Jeffrey Smart building, is beautiful. They're knocking down, not the building that we're in, not the one across that, but the one across from that. They're knocking that down, and then the old building that's next to that, and they're building a huge complex there.
Yeah, right.
And what they're doing is they're actually moving everyone from McGill to this campus. So UniSA doesn't own McGill.
Yeah, right.
So they lease that space, is my understanding anyway. And but COVID's obviously set back the university finances, like all the university finances at the moment. Not just us, I mean, University of Melbourne, all of them, international students. And so that this will become even bigger, way more of a student hub. And and we're offloading City East as well at some point.
Yeah.
Everything will be here.
Hey guys, it's Zach Ainsbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zach Ainsbury. That is ZACANESBURY. For my take on the marketing issues of the day.